Most people make the mistake of thinking that there's a right way to train your legs. If you're not interested in being a bodybuilder or powerlifter, there's some interesting options. This is a comprehensive overview of ways to train your lower body with a minimal setup. Perfect for someone who likes to train from home or prefers a bodyweight approach. Let's begin with the basics. Squats are the king of lower body exercises.
The Bodyweight Air Squat is safe and approachable. It can be a great exercise to build basic leg strength, endurance, and mobility, especially as a beginner. It's a good place to start to nourish the knees bending while strengthening the quads and glutes. If you have mobility limitations, you can always elevate your heels for a deeper range of motion. Feet placement will vary, but as a rule of thumb, try to go as straight as you can. For most, this will mean a slight turnout.
The downside to an air squat is that you'll quickly need a ton of volume to keep making progress. I made a video last year on a simple program to keep making progress with bodyweight squats, link in description.
Toe squats are great to emphasize the quads. Most people will hit fatigue quicker than the heel down squat. The toe squat can be a great way to strengthen the quads and knees if done in a progressive manner.
One of the ways that we can easily add more intensity to a squat is to prioritize a one leg working at a time.
The lunge is a great way to get started. Standing or walking lunges will make one leg work more, but at the same time, mobility and balance is not challenged, which makes it great for a beginner. Or elevate the back leg in order to put even more intensity on the working leg with the Bulgarian split squat. Now the front leg will be doing a large portion of the work, but balance is still not challenged too much, which makes this a great option for those wanting to push strength, but not complexity or mobility. The step up can be a more challenging variation because the non-working leg leaves the ground. This means more strength and balance from the working leg. If you prioritize using no help from your bottom leg by flipping the toes up, this will truly challenge your single leg ability. The step up is easily scaled to your level by the height of the surface you're stepping on. Another variation of the step up I enjoy is to face the surface and drag the bottom leg along the box. Now balance is less of an issue and you can work more on strength. The leg against the box also gives you a counterbalance, so often you can push your range of motion a bit deeper.
If we're not using weights and we want to become stronger or build muscle, we need to put our body in positions that are less advantageous, so our legs will have to work harder. Typically, more range of motion means our body has to work harder because we're covering more ground. But more range of motion will always require more mobility and strength from the body.
A good place to start building deeper range of motion is the ATG Split Squat. It gets your knee used to full bend. Mobility as well as strength is prioritized here and can give you free flexibility gains while becoming stronger. Starting out body weight is a great option, but because we have two legs on the ground working, adding some load with weights in the hand or a barbell really ups the intensity. This is a great preparatory movement for the more challenging bodyweight squats, such as pistol squats. The pistol requires tons of strength and mobility, which makes it a great exercise, but also very demanding. If you have ankle limitations, elevate your heel. This shifts more weight to your quads and also allows your hovering leg more space. You can use assistance from the hands, but avoid sitting back into your heel. The potency of the pistol comes from reaching forward and driving through your knees and quads. The pistol is also very easily loaded with a weight vest or weight in the hands, which makes it easier to track progress. The shrimp squat is another true one-legged squat. This time the non-working leg goes behind you and the knee taps the ground rather than the foot. To scale to your strength and mobility level, you can tap the knee on a surface behind you. For those of us with ankle limitations, the shrimp allows you to naturally lift the heel of the working leg, which puts more demands on the quads. You can scale shrimp squat up by grabbing your leg behind you with first one and then two hands. This essentially takes our counterbalance away and makes the leg work harder.
Now, any of these squats could be made more challenging by adding in a weight vest or holding a weight in your hands. This is a really easy way to keep making progress with basic body weight movements, essentially weighted calisthenics. There's a couple exercises we can use to isolate the quads.
Sissy squats drive the knees forward while keeping our hip extended. While these look like they would be hard on the knees, they actually work to strengthen them if done at the right intensity. This is due to strengthening the quads with an open hip angle and moving the knees in front of the feet. You can use hand assistance and cut the range of motion to meet you at your level. The natural leg extension is a great mobility tool which will also build strength. You'll have to lengthen through the quads under a strong contraction and then fire them even harder to move back up. Use some blocks or pads to find a range of motion that works for you. Start out with band assistance to get used to the range of motion.
Now, with all the squat variations, we're putting a high emphasis on the quads. One big issue with bodyweight leg training is it's harder to train the posterior chain, as in the hamstrings and glutes.
But probably the king of hamstring training is the Nordic Curl. It's one of the toughest bodyweight leg movements. First, you need a good setup, which isn't always the easiest to find, but nowadays there are cheaper options, including the under-the-door mount. Next is finding the right level for you. I'm a big fan of using bands and less range of motion to scale to your level. Get stronger at lowering down, and raising up will come.
Although the Nordic is fantastic, it's also challenging and hard to get the right setup. Most people can make tons of gains from a hamstring curl. You can do this using a stability ball, gymnastics rings, or a floor that slides. This trains knee flexion, which is one of the hamstring's primary functions and another very humbling exercise.
To work on hip extension, the best exercise is a hinge pattern. A good morning/stiff-legged deadlift is a good place to begin. But if we're training body weight, then using a single leg variation will challenge you best. Challenge your hamstring flexibility by keeping the knee straighter, or challenge hip stability with a more bent knee. A light weight in hand will make your backside work harder, and we'll get more into this in part 2. The bodyweight glute ham raise is another good option to train the backside. All you need is a surface to lay your torso on and lift the legs behind you. This will use the whole backside of the body and can be scaled by bending the knees or straddling the legs. And of course, the simple glute bridge is a great way to isolate the glutes. Graduate to the single leg version to up the intensity. Elevate your back for more range of motion. This one can be made more potent with a weight on the hips. And if you're interested in more isolated hip exercises, I have a great video on hip essentials, link in description.
So you can build your own routine based on what you value for your body.
But here's a sample program you can try out that will hit most of your lower body with not much setup. Take a screenshot, and we'll also place this in the pinned comment below.
So, I'd love to know, what exercises do you prioritize training for your legs? In part 2, I want to dive into the use of a minimal weight setup, which I think is a game changer, such as purchasing one kettlebell or a pair of dumbbells for your home. Let me know below if you'd like to see it. Hope you guys enjoyed this bodyweight leg manual. I'll see you in the next one, as always.